response. The Angel Reese fans are not happy. I mean, unbelievable. Are you rooting for the Sky? You're rooting for Angel? You're shitting on a really damn good player right there, by the way. Stop acting like y'all didn't give it to her. We saw the stats at the middle and end of the season. Us Chicagoans love Angel. Oh, but it didn't stop there. I hate you guys. We will make it known at Wintrust. Will you? Because you don't even sell it out for Angel. Question mark. You don't. I mean, you're 1,000 and 1,500 fans light every night of selling that place out. Unless Caitlin's around.
The Chicago Sky just made the loudest statement they could without saying a single word. And Angel Reese. She's not going to like this one bit. When your own team picks someone else as Player of the Year, after you spent months trashing your teammates in public, that's not just a snub. That's a message. And this guy just delivered it with a megaphone. Here's what nobody's talking about. Angel Reese threw her entire roster under the bus. She went to the Chicago Tribune and basically said her teammates weren't good enough to play with her. She demanded roster changes. She questioned veterans' ages and abilities. She made it crystal clear that everyone around her was the problem.
Angel Reese plans on remaining with the Chicago Sky after Rocky in the 2025. You may be like, Rocky, question mark? Yeah, you don't remember? She threw all of her teammates under the bus and then ran the bus over them. In that interview that came out, I think it was the Chicago Sun-Times. And her teammates, nah, they wasn't having it. Gave her the cold shoulder, the Sky gave her a suspension.
And then the Chicago Sky turned around and named Camila Cardoso their Player of the Year. Not Angel Reese, the player who actually showed up to work. 40 games played. Let that number sink in for a second. 40 games. You know how many Angel Reese played? 30. And those 10 missing games, they tell you everything you need to know about who the Chicago Sky wants to build around.
30 games played. Woo! A lot can be taken from the 40 games played statistic, right? Because let's be honest, here's Angel. 30 games played. 30 games played. And we don't know where the mindset is of this front office.
This isn't just about basketball anymore. This is about professionalism. This is about showing up when your team needs you. This is about not disappearing when things get tough. And on every single one of those metrics, Camila Cardoso destroyed Angel Reese. Let's talk about what Angel actually said, because this wasn't some misunderstood comment taken out of context. She told the Tribune, straight up, that she wasn't settling for what the team had. She said they needed to get good players and great players. Non-negotiable. Those were her exact words. Think about that for a second. Your teammate goes to the media and says the roster isn't good enough while you're in that same locker room, while you're putting in the work every single day. How do you come back from that? And here's the kicker. The Sky had already bent over backwards for Angel Reese. They traded for Ariel Atkins to give her a veteran presence. They made roster moves with her development in mind. They gave her everything she asked for, and she repaid them by going public and saying it still wasn't enough. Courtney Vanderloot had to defend herself after Angel questioned whether they could rely on someone her age coming back from an ACL injury. Think about that disrespect. Vanderloot is a two-time WNBA champion, 5-time All-Star, 2-time All-WNBA first team. She left the New York Liberty, an actual championship contender, to come help Chicago. And Angel Reese said they couldn't rely on her because of her age. The locker room imploded immediately. Rachel Bannum said she was over all the drama. Ariel Atkins had to acknowledge they were addressing it internally. Even the head coach called it a top-down organizational decision. That's code for, we have a serious problem on our hands. But Angel's words weren't the only issue. It was her actions. Or should I say, her lack of actions. The Sky kept listing Angel as day-to-day for weeks. No real updates, no medical details, no timeline, just day-to-day, day-to-day. Meanwhile, her teammates are out there getting blown out, trying to make the playoffs. And nobody knows if their supposed star is actually hurt, or if she's just done with the season. And where was Angel during all this mysterious injury drama? She was in Indiana promoting her Reebok sneakers. She was on social media talking about taking over Caitlin Clark's territory. She was hyping up shoe releases like it was the biggest event of the year. But playing basketball for the team paying her salary? Suddenly, her back hurt too much for that. Fans started calling her the Vanishing Barbie because she had a habit of disappearing whenever accountability showed up. And honestly, that nickname might be too generous. The technical fouls tell their own story. Angel racked up 8 technicals during the season. 8. That earned her an automatic suspension. The final one came when she struck Aaliyah Edwards in the head going for a rebound. And that suspension? It happened right before the Indiana Fever game. The exact matchup everyone wanted to see. Let me get this straight. You publicly trash your teammates. You question their abilities and demand they get replaced. You disappear for mysterious injuries while promoting sneakers. You get yourself suspended for lack of discipline. And then you expect the organization to name you Player of the Year. The Chicago Sky said, absolutely not. And they did it in the most public way possible. Camila Cardoso earned this award the old-fashioned way. She showed up. 40 games played. 15 times Player of the Game, 6 times Player of the Week, 2 times Player of the Month. These aren't participation trophies. These are earned through consistent excellence and professionalism. And you know what Cardoso is doing right now? She's overseas, dominating international competition. 29 points, and I don't even know how many rebounds in her last game. She's getting better. While Angel's social media presence is getting louder, the fan reactions to this decision are absolutely wild. Angel Reese supporters are losing their minds. They're saying the Sky are disrespecting their star. They're claiming Chicago wouldn't have won 10 games without Angel. They're demanding trades and calling the organization trash. But here's what they're missing. The Chicago Sky won 10 games total. 10. That's not a championship roster. That's not even a playoff roster. And the player who appeared in all 40 available games had more to do with those 10 wins than the player who disappeared for a quarter of the season. Some fans are even laughing at Camila getting this award, like it's a joke that the player who actually showed up gets recognized. That tells you everything about where Angel Reese's fanbase priorities are. They care more about their favorite player's brand than actual basketball excellence. The comparison to Caitlin Clark becomes impossible to ignore at this point, because while Angel was creating chaos in Chicago, Caitlin was building something special in Indiana. When Caitlin dealt with injuries, she was completely transparent. Ear injury affecting her hearing during games. She explained it openly to media and fans. No mystery, no day-to-day nonsense. Everyone knew exactly where she stood. Caitlin traveled with the team even when she couldn't play. She sat on the bench during games. She cheered for her teammates. She talked strategy during timeouts. She stayed engaged with every single possession. She never disappeared when things got tough, and her public comments about teammates, complete opposite of Angel's approach. Caitlin constantly praised Aaliyah Boston's improvements. She highlighted Lexi Hull's shooting. She made sure Kelsey Mitchell got credit for big games. She lifted her teammates up instead of tearing them down. The chemistry Caitlin built with Mitchell became legendary. They spent extra time after practice working on timing. They deferred to each other's strengths. They showed how stars and veterans can collaborate instead of compete. And that partnership translated directly into wins. Aaliyah Boston went from struggling with confidence to becoming one of the league's most reliable big players under Caitlin's leadership. Lexi Hull had a breakout season because Caitlin made sure she got quality shots. The entire Fever roster elevated because their star player understood that making others better creates a winning culture. Indiana went from lottery team to playoff contender. Not because Caitlin demanded roster changes. Not because she trashed her teammates publicly. But because she showed up every day and made everyone around her better through her work ethic and positive energy. The attendance numbers exploded in Indiana because fans could see genuine chemistry. Games became must-see events, not just for Caitlin's individual brilliance, but for the way the entire team played together. The Fever sold out arenas because people wanted to watch a team that actually enjoyed playing with each other. Meanwhile, in Chicago, the Sky couldn't even sell out their own building unless Caitlin Clark was visiting. 500 fans short every single night, because nobody wants to watch a team where the supposed star is constantly creating drama and questioning whether her teammates are good enough. And here's the part that really exposes Angel's impact on winning. The Sky actually played better without her on the floor. The offense moved faster. Possessions looked less chaotic. The team didn't seem weighed down by someone demanding touches and then turning the ball over. Angel led the entire league in turnovers despite missing significant time.
Think about that.
She played 30 games and still had the most turnovers in the WNBA. Her presence created more problems than solutions. The Sky decision to name Cardoso Player of the Year isn't just about the season. It's a statement about what they value going forward. They're saying reliability matters more than star power. Professionalism matters more than social media followers. Showing up matters more than having a name brand. This creates a massive question mark around Angel's future in Chicago. Does she even want to come back after this public rejection? And more importantly, does Chicago actually want her back? Because here's the reality nobody wants to say out loud. If Angel Reese was on an actual championship roster, she'd be the 5th option at best, maybe 6th. She wouldn't be the centerpiece the Sky tried to build around. She'd be a role player who needs to accept her limitations and work. Within a system, Chicago needs shooters. They need players who can create their own shot. They need veterans who can handle pressure situations. They need professionals who show up consistently. On every single one of those needs, Angel Reese doesn't check the box. The Sky could look at trading her this offseason, getting actual value back while her name still carries weight. Building around Cardoso as the true centerpiece, bringing in veterans who won't tolerate drama and immaturity, creating a culture based on professionalism instead of social media metrics. Or they could run it back and hope Angel learns something from this very public message. Hope she understands that talent without reliability and leadership equals dysfunction. Hope she realizes that throwing teammates under the bus doesn't create winning culture. Hope she figures out that showing up matters more than shoe deals, but hoping isn't a strategy, and the Chicago Sky just showed they're done hoping. Angel Reese figures it out. The league is watching this situation closely because it sets a precedent. Can organizations hold their star players accountable for unprofessional behavior? Can teams prioritize culture over individual talent? Can franchises say no to players who create constant drama? Chicago just answered yes to all 3 questions. And they did it by giving Camila Cardoso the recognition she actually earned through consistency and professionalism. Angel Reese has a choice to make. Now she can learn from this. Accept that being a star requires more than talent. Understand that leadership means lifting others up instead of tearing them down. Show up every single day and prove she deserves to be the centerpiece. Or she can continue down the same path. Keep creating drama, keep disappearing when things get tough, keep prioritizing brand over basketball, keep demanding better teammates while failing to meet basic professional standards herself. But if she chooses that second path, she better be ready for more decisions like this one. Because the Chicago Sky just proved they're willing to make the hard choice. They pick the player who shows up over the player who shows off. They chose professionalism over star power. They selected reliability over name recognition, and in doing so, they sent the clearest message possible to Angel Reese and every other player in their organization. Play basketball, support your teammates, show up consistently, do your job, or watch someone else get the recognition you think you deserve. Camila Cardoso is your Chicago Sky Player of the Year. Not because of politics, not because of favoritism, but because she earned it through 40 games of consistent excellence, while her teammate was busy creating drama and disappearing. The Sky made their choice. Now it's Angel's turn to decide how she responds. Does she come back humbled and ready to work, or does she force her way out and prove Chicago made the right decision all along? Either way, the message is sent, the standard is set, and the Chicago Sky aren't backing down. What happens next will define not just Angel Reese's career, but the entire direction of this franchise going forward. The clock is ticking, the pressure is on, and everyone is watching to see what happens when a team finally says enough is enough to their supposed star player. This is the reality check Angel Reese never wanted, but absolutely needed. How she handles it will determine everything about her future in this league. The Sky just threw down the gauntlet. Time to see if Angel picks it up or walks away.